this weekend. He's going to force Shireel to go around the outside into turn one.
Daniel Shireel, who was more than 0.3 of a second faster than Furusato, the race leader, last time around, gets around the outside into turn one, and Furusato eases him out, and then there's a bit of a moment for Daniel Shireel coming through the first turn. He's going to have to work harder than he ever has if he wants to beat Furusato, the man of the moment.
Yeah, super riding from Furusato. Forced Shireel to go the long way around the outside then the start-finish straight in the run into turn one. He's going to have to try and do something similar on the run into turn 10 as well. That's Shireel's best chance to make the move.
We saw Shireel was willing to make the move wherever he could. Yes, no big moment there for Gunmi, and he's gone out onto those big serrated curves on the outside line as well. So that rules him out of a fight between these top two because there's 0.6 of a second already between second and third positions, and Gunmi's got it all wrong there on the final lap. He holds on for a podium position. Shireel to the outside line then as they come in towards turn number 10. Tries to go the long way round. He'll now switch it back. It gives him the inside line for turn 11. Daniel Shireel has thought about this in advance, but he's not quite alongside. Furusato defends the position through turn 12, where Daniel Shireel passed Furusato here yesterday. These two have swapped and changed. There were 0.8 thousandths of a second across the last timing point between the two of them. Shireel gets nerfed to the inside. He takes that as his opportunity, as his call to arms into turn 13 and comes through. Then Furusato recovers it coming through turn 14. It's a head-to-head on the final lap that will determine whether we go to another race in the Asia Talent Cup for 2021 or whether we have just settled the series standings. One final sector to go. It's Furusato, the leader, on the number 15. It's Daniel Shireel, the pretender, on the number 21. I don't think he's going to be close enough coming off the final turn. It's a drag race down to the line. Furusato holds on, and Taiyo Furusato claims the 2021 Asia Talent Cup with 2 races to spare.
I actually thought Furusato might have gone too defensive there in the final sector. Judged it to perfection. Really good race performance from him. Hongo takes 4th. Thompson's up inside the top 5 once again as the rest of the field comes through to claim the points paying positions.
Yes, Thompson rounding out your top 5. Firdaus for Jeter, an isolated 7th position. Wakamatsu in 8th for Dilla, and Dandy rounding out your top 10. But it was all about the top 2 in the context of the championship. We had a very similar race to what we had yesterday. We had exactly the same outcome. A 6th win of the season for Taiyo Furusato.
Yeah, and if you want to see how on the limit Shireel was to try and make the moves to take the race lead, we saw through turns 6 and 7 he had a bit of a moment. We saw on the run into turns 12 and 13 he had another moment. That was the deciding factor. It meant that into turn 15 Furusato was able to take a normal line. He didn't have to defend the position. He did take a defensive line on the run through 15 into 16, and he was able then to exit the corner nice and clean and hold on to that race victory. He was able to take it by 1/10 of a second, and just like we saw yesterday, able to lead pretty much the whole race here, nice and comfortable. 6 from 6 from Furusato.
And you get the impression that Daniel Shireel just felt that he had to throw everything at Furusato if he was going to have a hope of beating him and pushing this championship fight on. I think realistically, even if Daniel Shireel had got through to hit the front, Furusato would have been a matter of a few points away from claiming the title, and more than likely would have done it this afternoon anyway. But Furusato, 150 points out of a possible 150, still 50 up for grabs over the course of this afternoon and tomorrow. But Daniel Shireel is now 51 points behind Gunmi, 61 points behind Furusato, 10 therefore behind Shireel, and 19 clear of Carter Thompson. Damage limitation ride in the end for Thompson. We just watched the timing screen because we've had a penalty for exceeding track limits on the final lap, and it's for Wakamatsu. So it's not for Furusato. That's the most important thing at this precise moment, because, of course, if Furusato had exceeded track limits and had to drop a position, then the championship fight would go on for another race.
Yeah, and certainly for Furusato, didn't put a foot wrong all the way through that race, hasn't put a foot wrong all season, and that's why he's been so impressive and able to take this championship. 6 from 6, very impressive start to his international career as well. Obviously he's going to be in the Moto3 World Championship next year with the Asia Talent Team, and we've seen some good riders come through in the Talent Team over the years. Obviously Ayagura, their big star in recent years in the Moto3 class, done a really good job in Moto2, but Furusato certainly a name to keep your eye on.
Yeah, it's always an opportunity for the Asia Talent Cup when they're rubbing shoulders with the Grand Prix and with the World Superbike paddocks. And Furusato is a name that we'll remember for the future, little doubt about that. 16 years of age from Japan, and he's taken the Asia Talent Cup, and in the best possible fashion as well, with 6 wins out of 6 so far.
Cheer.
Confirmation of your race results. Tayo Furusato takes a 6th win out of 6 to extend his championship lead to 51 points with only 50 remaining. Daniel Sharil doing his level best to keep his championship hopes alive. A 4th consecutive 2nd place for him, and all of them have been less than a second to the race winner. Gun Mie with another 3rd position. It's the same podium trio as we had in race 1 here yesterday, and it was a very similar race the way it panned out, the way it played out, and it does mean that each of those 3 riders extend the gaps between them, and directly behind them to Carter Thompson, who got relegated into the secondary group and had to work hard just to come home for 5th.
Racing around this circuit. Congratulations, guys, as they now make their way into the backstage. A couple of them grabbing a drink, congratulating each other as you can.
And the championship standings upon the completion of round number 3. Still 1 round to go that starts as early as this afternoon. No change in the top 7 positions, as you can see. Hakim Denish and Kanta Hamada both missing from the remainder of this 2021 season through injury, so they're likely to slip back. Sharil Sharil is in pride of place with an opportunity to pass the pair of them. The top 4 look fairly settled, although we could still have a battle for 2nd in the standing.